Breaking Down the Law is sponsored by Battle-Born Injury Lawyers.
So we've heard a lot out of Washington over the last month about the unmasking of General Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor for President Trump. The matter has become a political issue between Republicans and Democrats, leading many to ask themselves, what exactly is unmasking and why is this issue getting so much attention? Attorney Matt Hoffmann with Battle-Born Injury Lawyers joining us now to break down the law. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon.
So let's break it down. The Judiciary Committee, excuse me for interrupting you, released the names of people who requested to unmask General Flynn in regard to a telephone call that was intercepted with the ambassador to Russia prior to President Trump taking office. What exactly does this mean? Why is this getting so much attention? And again, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay. I interrupted you. So, you watch the news and you hear all this stuff about unmasking, and one side says it's the crime of the century. The other one says it's not a big deal. But I think a lot of people are wondering, what the heck does unmasking mean? So the Fourth Amendment prohibits the government from doing surveillance on United States citizens. You can't do it, not without a warrant. But there's nothing that prohibits the intelligence community from surveilling foreign actors, including diplomats. And that happens all the time. So what happens in that situation is sometimes they'll do surveillance on a foreign actor, and it'll turn out that the phone call involves a U.S. citizen. And when that happens, when they make a transcript of the call and document it, the name of the U.S. citizen is redacted because it has to be under the Fourth Amendment. And instead, it'll just say like U.S. citizen 1. Well, a government official may be interested to learn the contents of that conversation and the identity of the U.S. citizen. And that's called unmasking, learning the identity. And to do that, you go to the Foreign Intelligence Court, the FISA court. You tell them it's a matter of national security or something, and then you can learn the identity of the U.S. citizen and the contents of the phone call.
Now, you talked about this happening all the time. Members of the government during the Obama administration requested to know exactly who was on that call then with that ambassador unmasking that U.S. person 1. Like most things in politics, those sentiments around this issue are taking one of two sides. Can you break down what the controversy is, especially with this issue?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue, one of the things being raised is, were you really doing surveillance on the U.S. or on the Russian ambassador, in the weeks leading up to Trump being sworn in, or were you just using it as a backdoor to do surveillance on, the incoming administration? I think it's not an illogical argument. But the biggest issue in this case is that, okay, so the unmasking happens. We have these officials who they learned it was General Flynn. They learned the contents of the conversation. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is it was leaked to the Washington Post. And that is a felony. That is espionage. So if you learn this information, you cannot reveal it outside of very strict government, purposes. And it's for good reason, because, the intelligence community doesn't want the person being surveilled to know they've been surveilled. It's a matter of national security. And, in this case, it's a Russian ambassador. Maybe it's not the end of the world, but the rule, exists for a reason. Because lives could be at risk. We have operatives and that are out, undercover spies, and if their identities were compromised because of this, it's a big deal. So under the Espionage Act, we know at least 7 people got the information. Somebody leaked it, and it's a crime. And I'm not taking a position on this. That's just the law, and I think that's why the Judiciary Committee has taken this very seriously, and why it's going to continue to get a lot of publicity.
Matt Hoffmann with Battle-Born Injury Lawyers breaking down the law for us once again here this week on News 3. We definitely appreciate that perspective. Cut and dry, clear, as you said, what is the law and what is it? And as always, we appreciate your time with us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay, see you next week.